Welcome back to the United Star. Today is a very special day because we've got Animesh from Football Fundits and Abhishek from MUSCM Mumbai, and we're here to discuss the all-important game against Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final. So, without wasting any time, Abby, how important do you think this game is in the context that it is a FA Cup semi-final? It is a chance to win silverware, and we're playing Chelsea.
You said it, man. It's those exact reasons, right? And I'll throw in an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer angle into this as well. I'm not being pessimistic, but if all United fans were to just reflect, we are still not in the top four, right? We have still not won the Europa League. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been at the club for 18 months now. There's still been no silverware. So this FA Cup is actually very, very important for him. It's very important because he needs to get some silverware. He needs to start collecting silverware very quickly. Imagine for a second we don't make it to top four next year. Imagine for a second there's no Champions League and there's no silverware. He's going to be in a lot of trouble. The second thing is, I think the magic of the cup is definitely not back. Let's not kid ourselves. The FA Cup is nowhere close to what it used to be. But I think in the current context, it kind of sets a message as well to everyone, because essentially to win it now, we have to beat the bloody best in the league, right? It's most likely not going to be a final against, some of the lesser sides like Arsenal. It's very likely that we'll have to beat a Chelsea and a City to win this. So that could be a very big statement in itself. What I'll be keen to sort of know from the rest of you today is how we're really going to shape up, because Oli, according to me, needs to play our best 11 for this game, right? Maybe one or two players can be rested, but definitely not a Bruno, not a Martial. Our front five needs to be as is. And Lingard is our FA Cup man, so maybe Mason Greenwood can get some rest in place of him. But yeah, the larger question, Prasham, I think this is very, very important for us. It's most important for Man United to win this FA Cup, is the way I'd put it.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. It is an incredibly important game. Annie, coming to you, what do you think? Because Chelsea are in a similar situation as us. So how do you think they will approach the game? And we've already had a debate on Ole on your channel, and I think you all should check that out. What do you think about Lampard going into this game? And do you think he has the tactical depth to go out and win it?
Yeah, so firstly, they've beaten, Chelsea's lost to United, four times now this season. And in terms of Lampard, I feel personally, firstly, before we get into it, I think Lampard is getting a slight, he's getting it easy right from the media, from the British media, because he's a British manager, ex-British player. He's getting it very easy. I know he had a transfer ban. He couldn't sign certain players. So he went for the youth and he made it really great. But you can see that's kind of all falling away now. End of the day, it's Pulisic, who was a signing last January, and Willian, who's been an experienced player for the club for so many years, are the ones who are pulling them out of the muck, right? Abraham is falling away. Mason Mount is not doing well. So I think it's really, really important for him internally. He knows this. So he really wants to go out and beat United. And it's very important for him to put these niggling questions coming out now away. He's going to still get an easy ride, I think, for another year. Unlike an Ole, who, if he loses the next game, is going to be all over the front pages, back pages, everywhere. He's going to be in the shopping discount vouchers also. You're going to find Ole everywhere, right? And that's just a credit to the club, Manchester United and Ole, not discredit to Chelsea or Lampard. But yeah, coming to the tactics, I don't think Lampard is tactically that sound either. I keep saying that about Ole. Lampard tactically isn't that sound. I don't see Chelsea having a bad game, Lampard throwing in some crazy substitutions or switching the play around and able to hold on to a lead. If they're having a bad game, they're having a shocker. Look at the game against Sheffield. Sheffield don't look like the best side they did earlier, but they beat them 3-0. Did you see that performance? Lampard looked clueless on the touchline, right? Yeah. I think it's very, very important for Chelsea, Dan Ole, to win this game. Firstly, to beat Manchester United in this season, but also this cup is to kind of then put the pressure back on United and Ole for next season.
I think you've summed it up brilliantly. I think a lot of people are overestimating Lampard's abilities. Especially they keep citing what he did at Derby, but that's nothing to go by. This is the Premier League. Vishesh, coming to you, we've played 100 minutes almost against Crystal Palace. It was a scrappy game and all that. I don't want to get into that because this is the cup and anything goes. But we played 100 minutes there with Bruno, Pogba, Martial, Rashford, Maguire, Lindelof, everyone playing the entire game. Do you think that will affect us in this game, or will that have no bearing and the motivation and the sort of thing will guide us through?
I think we can see that over the last few games, we've again slacked off when it comes to energy, and we have slowed down, the intensity of our press in the opposition's half. But this being a semi-final and us being in Wembley, I think the boys will be ready for the game. And there's no reason why we do not treat all our remaining, possibly 4 games, as a final and try to win them all with the strongest 11 that we have.
Right. I think that's a fair point. Abby, do you agree we'll play our strongest 11? What's your predicted lineup? You already touched upon a few players. What's your
Yeah.
predicted lineup for this
Yeah,
game?
I'd like to see us go all in for this. The only change that I could probably foresee is maybe Jesse Lingard getting some game time, because I know it's banter and I know it's a joke, but this is his tournament, right? He is our FA Cup expert, and he is a man who can score at Wembley and he can score, outside of Old Trafford when he wants. So I think that will be one of the most significant changes. I'm not sure he's going to rest. I personally do, because Oli has come out saying the boys are up for it, right? He's not hinted in the limited minutes that he's given to the FA Cup in his presser already. He's not hinted at squad rotation. He's not hinted at, this is going to be an opportunity for us to give the other guys. He said everyone's up for it. Everyone's putting their hand up. So it's up to me now to play my best team, right? So I think he's going to go for it. Will Romero start instead of De Gea? Maybe. I think that's a very sort of, it's a small change. It doesn't affect the larger scheme of things to a large extent. I think our attack front five, Bruno, Pogba, Rashford, Martial, and maybe Lingard instead of Greenwood is what I'm seeing as fundamental changes. Will he play McTominay, Matic? I'm not sure. This could be a chance to play Fred. And in defense, I personally wouldn't risk Brandon Williams or Shaw, because I had some hope that one of them would play against Palace, but both didn't play. And I didn't think Fosu Mensah was too bad. Remains to be seen whether he rushes one of the two, but I think fundamentally he's going to go for a very attacking and very strong lineup. I'm not seeing too many changes in that sense.
So you think tactically it will be a 4-2-3-1 setup as well?
Yeah.
Annie, what do you think? Do you think some players will be rested because we have played a lot of football? And do you think it might be better, in fact, to rest some players?
I think it would be. I know Ole said that the squad is up for it, and I know he likes to motivate the players in the press conference. He doesn't put the team down that even if they've had a bad game, even if they've had a shocker, the players, someone looks off, looks a little patchy. He says, no, the boys are fine, they can do well. I would firstly really rest Bruno. I would not leave him out of the squad completely. Obviously, I'll leave him on the bench. Mata coming in for me in this game is not a very bad idea, because we've beaten Chelsea without Bruno Fernandes already this season, and convincingly beat Chelsea. So I honestly don't think it should be a problem. Also, like Abhishek said, I'll be opposite. I really want Luke Shaw to be part of this game. And the fact that neither of them played yesterday just shows that he's keeping both of them for the game against Chelsea. So I'm quite sure he's going to start them, because starting Fosu Mensah on the left against Chelsea is asking for too much, I think. I think he'll look a little stupid on the left. It's not his natural position. It should not happen. Coming to the midfield, I agree with him. It's a good game for Fred. Apart from that, I see Mason not starting this game. I see Dan James playing instead.
So I think what Annie is saying, that we might play that counter-attacking style against Chelsea that we have been playing right now. I think Vishesh, you agree with that, but I think you have a different formation in mind.
Yeah, I have a completely different mindset for this game. I'm going for a 3-5-2 for this game. I'm going back to the 3 in defense. And in fact, I believe that the reason Williams and Shaw won't include it was because they're going to be included in the FA Cup. So my lineup would most probably be De Gea, Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw as our 3 centre-backs, with Wan-Bissaka, Williams, Matic, Fernandes, Pogba, and Rashford and Martial. So I think that gives us the pace, and the front 5, Bruno missing out, with the wing-backs pushing up front, and, we can keep the likes of Pulisic and Azpilicueta quiet.
Interesting. So as you can see, we have a few combinations here. Animesh wanted to come in, so I'll bring him in. Animesh, what are your views?
Sorry, I missed out on the centre-back pairing. I won't be surprised if Lindelof doesn't start this and Bailly takes his place instead, especially with the performance Bailly had against Chelsea last time itself.
Right. So as you can see, we have some different tactics here, but I think overall what we feel is that we should hit Chelsea with pace. I think that is one of the best things to do. And it might be that some players are rested, but it's up in the air because of the way Ole has played strong teams throughout till now. But going a little bit into form, Abby, we're going in this game on a high with 19 games unbeaten, right? That Southampton game was not a loss. We're yet unbeaten. Whereas Chelsea are going in, as you said, that Willian and Pulisic are just pulling them out from game to game, and they keep conceding a lot of goals. Since they've got 3 on their shirt, they seem obligated to concede 3 at times. So what do you think about the form going into this game?
Yeah. So, if it was the league, if this was a league fixture, I think form counts. There's something magical about the FA Cup that still exists, which is it doesn't matter what your league form is or what your other form is, because teams tend to show up, right? And these fixtures tend to be completely like one-offish in that sense. Talking about Chelsea now, I think for United to be able to stop them effectively, like Annie said, right, there are two or three main players. I like what Vishesh said about the 3-5-2. It's given some more perspective because Chelsea are fundamentally strong bank center of the park, right? Even Willian doesn't play out too wide. If you notice, every time he receives the ball, he's in a shooting and scoring position. So I think it'll be critical for us to sort of stifle the middle of the park, right? Don't allow Pulisic too much space. Don't allow Mason Mount too much. Make Kante make. Is Kante still playing? He is. Yeah. Make N'Golo Kante run around. And we need to play around them, which is on the pace. So playing those two wingers out wide with that supporting sort of structure to play on the break, I think will be very critical. Speaking of form, like I said, I just don't think it matters, man. I think Chelsea could have lost their last 5 and still win this on Saturday because it's the FA Cup, on Sunday. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're completely right. I tend to agree with you, but I think we might have the upper hand because, well, we did beat them 4 times, right? And without Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba as well for most of those games. So, Annie, what do you think the sort of key matchups here are? I think Abhishek has covered a few. Do you think there are some other ones from our side that we can terrify their defense?
Yeah, firstly, I don't think Kante will be part of this game. He's been injured, right? I don't see him coming back for this one either, which is a big plus for United, obviously. A key matchup for me, honestly, would be if a Giroud or a Tammy, whoever is a centre forward, versus Maguire. And this is not to shit on Maguire because I think Maguire, in fact, will relish this matchup because I think he can definitely take on Tammy easily. Giroud is the challenge for me. Giroud, like you all mentioned, because of Willian and Pulisic like coming in, right? Giroud is what he did against, against all the sides as a France centre forward. Just holds the centre backs towards him and lets the two quicker players like Mbappe and Griezmann go through, right? Exactly what Chelsea is going to do. So I think it's really important that Maguire shuts down Giroud. Giroud starts. And I think a second key matchup again is not our forward line. I believe that our forward line is way better than the defensive line. It should not be a problem. Comes down to midfield. If he starts a Jorginho, does it start a Kovacic? I think in the midfield battle in this game is if McTominay and Fred start and not Matic. I think Chelsea might slightly have an upper hand only because they both don't look too sharp, right? McTominay and Fred, they both come on a little bit. So that for me is a worry. I think so. Giroud and Maguire and the two midfields, the two holding players on both.
I have a question for you guys, and maybe one of y'all can come in and tell me what, according to you, is United's weakest link right now, or maybe going into Chelsea. Where do you see our weakest link? In which position, or which player, or what tactic? I think that'll be an interesting one to sort of.
I think since lockdown, the weakest link has been Wan-Bissaka. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if all the attacks are coming down his side, the slide tackles are no more to be seen. I think he's focusing way too much on his attacking game and way too less on the defensive part of things, which is hampering our defense as a whole. Because last 3 games, 3 yellow cards against Palace, also majority of the attack from that side. So I think Zaha's, not Zaha, Wan-Bissaka has been the weakest link of the defense.
I think I agree partly, but I think it's a 2-point thing I'd like to say. If Matic doesn't play, I think that CDM role is our weakest link. Because if Matic, the way Matic is playing, he's really doing a great job there. And Scott is not able to do that just yet. And Fred does not have that same defensive awareness that Matic does. And the second thing I feel is Lindelof and Maguire. I think both of them together tend to have half decent games. So one person is good and the other half one person is good. And we can't have that if we're playing big teams. Because if they lose the ball, it's a big problem. But let me get into some predictions here quickly before we wrap this up. Vishesh, I'll come to you. What is your prediction for the game, and who is your man of the match? Whom are you looking out for?
I'm nervous for this one. I think it's going to penalties, and we win on penalties at Wembley. My man of the match would probably be De Gea. I think he's going to come back and save us.
Okay, so you think David De Gea is going to actually save a penalty? That's shocking. Abby, what is your prediction and man of the match?
2-0 and man of the match, Marcus of Rashford.
Annie?
He plays well against Chelsea. That's right.
It's the FA Cup. Let's not forget Chelsea have a history of pulling those surprise 1-0s. So I would actually say it's an upset, guys. Sorry if you want lost United. Chelsea takes this.
I think we've had all 3 possible fixtures out of all.
Yeah, Annie, who's your man of the match then?
Man of the match in that case would be one of the white players for Chelsea. Either or, William Pulisic.
No way Captain America is doing this. I absolutely disagree with you. But anyway, we've had all three fixtures. The one that scares me most is actually Vicious, because if it goes to penalties, this team is going to be run down to the ground. And that's going to be very sad.
Romero will save us if that's the case.
Yeah, I think Romero starts as well. So, guys, so what we think here is three of us. I think we'll win. I think we'll win 3-1. I think it's going to be a Marcus Rashford plus Bruno Fernandes combination with Pogba being very solid in midfield. That's going to make this happen for us. But we have three different predictions here. So let us know what your prediction is in the comments. Do we qualify for the final? Can we sing "We Are on Our Way to Wembley" once again after this game? Thanks for joining us, guys. This is a very important game in our season, and just because it's a cup game. And let's see what happens. Glory, glory, Man United, and hopefully we get the result. Subscribe to the channel, go to Football Fundits and watch their content out, and support MUSCM because they also do some great work. We've put their links in the description. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks,
Thanks, guys.